3. Today I want to do equations with two fractions. Most people find equations with two fractions very daunting. They look at them, they have no idea what to do, and then they freak out, and usually you do the wrong thing and get it wrong. Again, we're going to follow our rules. Nothing's changed. We're going to do exactly what we always do, except there's a few things that we just have to be careful of along the way, just to make sure we don't make any mathematical errors. So let's have a look at number 1. X over 2 equals 2x plus 1 all over 3. Now this gets interesting because if I was to multiply by the denominator first, which is what our rule number 1 says, we have a few problems. Problem number 1 is, do I multiply by 2 to get rid of the 2, or do I multiply by 3 and get rid of the 3? Well, I did say in my last video that you're not supposed to guess and you're not supposed to make something disappear or appear, and that everything we do, we have to do for a reason. So it doesn't make any sense that we can multiply by 2 or 3, because if we multiply by 2, it doesn't get rid of the 3. And if we get rid of 3, it doesn't get rid of the 2. Any of you have any ideas what we can multiply by to get rid of the 2 and the 3? If you're thinking of the lowest common multiple, 2 times 3 is 6, then that's fantastic. Good job. I'm impressed if you thought about that. If we multiply by 6, and for those of you who don't know where the 6 is coming from, we said 2 times 3 was 6. You can all do 2 times 3 is 6. So instead of multiplying just by 2 or just by 3, we're now going to multiply by both of them, 2 times 3. But of course now we have another problem, because the 2 doesn't cancel with the 6, because 2 goes into 6 3 times, and 3 goes into 6 2 times. So our next step in these types of questions is always to write down what's left. That's normal. But what is left? 3 times x is 3x. But over here you have 2 times everything on the top. Don't try to be clever like some people and expand it at the same time. We don't want to do too many things in the one line. We multiply both sides by the denominator, by the lowest common denominator. Then we write down what's left. Don't expand at the same time. That's rule number 2. Now, everybody should know how to do the second line of working. We now need to expand the brackets. And hopefully we all get 3x equals 4x plus 2. Some of you might remember that we like to swap it around. Then take away the 2. And then take away 3x. Nothing wrong with that. And we're left with x equals minus 2. If you're a little bit confused, that's normal. We're going to go on, and as we go on, you'll pick it up, just like last time. Let's have a look at the next one. So we have here an equation that looks pretty horrible, but we're going to stick to our rules and get rid of the fraction first, just like it tells us to do in rule number 1. But we have a 2 and a 3. So we can't multiply by 2 or 3 alone. We need to multiply by 2 times 3, which is 6. Times both sides by 6. Then we need to cancel what's left. 3 into 6 goes twice. And we need to write down whatever's left. 3 times this. Don't times it out yet. Write down what's left. We will expand it soon. One step at a time. Every line of working should only have one step. I now expand the brackets. 3 times x is 3x plus 3 equals 2 times x is 2x, and 2 times 3 is 6. I'm going to minus 3 from both sides. 3x equals 2x. 6 take away 3 is 3 minus 2x from both sides, and I'm left with x equals 3. I'm showing you one of all the different types that we can do first, and then I'll give you a chance to do some on your own, and we'll go through everything so that you know that you're doing the right thing. And the idea is to show you all the different ones so that when you have to do some, You've seen them before and you know what to do. It's not a great surprise. Question number 3. This one's different because he has brackets on the top. In these two questions, we never had brackets on the top, so that's what makes this one slightly different. But we're going to start it the same way. Rule number 1, we need to eliminate the fractions first. So we need to, hopefully everybody gets 4 times 3 is 12. We need to multiply both sides by 12. And we need to cancel where we can. 4 into 12 goes 3, and 3 into 12 goes 4. Don't get lazy and not write it down. Don't think that you're cleverer than me and try to do everything in your head. Clever people get things wrong. We don't want to be one of those. We want to get the answer right, and we want to be able to improve our maths and get all the answers correct. Now we need to write down what's left. And this is the bit that's a little bit different, because we know that we need to do 3 times everything on the top. But we have a bracket. So we only want to have to deal with things one at a time. So let's just deal with the number out the front. We're going to say 3 times 3 is 9. And then we'll worry about everything in the brackets in the next step. 4 times 2 is 8. And then the next step, when we expand the brackets, it will already multiply everything by the numbers that we wanted to. If you don't fully understand why, that's okay. You can just learn the methods and then you'll understand it probably later. I know I need to expand my brackets now. 9 times x is 9x, 9 plus times 1 is 9, 8 times x is 8x, 8 fours are 32. I now need to minus 9 from both sides. I have 9x equals 8x minus 41. That's a tricky one, minus 32 minus 9. And I need to then minus 8x from both sides. If you have a calculator, there's nothing wrong with doing these calculations also on your calculator. If you're only in year 7 and you don't have a calculator and they don't let you use one, then you have to do them in your head. But once you get to year 8, you'll be able to do those on your calculator. So if you're finding those particularly difficult, try to be patient and hopefully one day you'll get them right when you can get some help. Some of you might want to do this one quicker than me. 5 and 3 on the denominator, we need to eliminate the denominator first. We're going to multiply both sides by, I can hear you all saying 15, that's great. And then we cancel where we can. 5 into 15 goes 3, 3 into 15 goes 5, and then I write down what's left. Over here I do just the 6 first. I hope you all remember to just do the 6. And 5 times x is 5x, that one was easy. And now I need to expand my brackets. 18 times x is 18x, minus 18 equals 5x. And now, hopefully, these questions are starting to become easy. Plus 18, minus 5x. And don't forget, if the numbers don't go into each other, like 18 over 13, we can just leave our answer like that. And perfectly fine. How did you go with those? You think you're going to be brave enough to do someone for yourself? Let's check it out. Right, you ready? Have a look at the questions. If you'd like to copy them all down first and have a go on your own, just pause the video, try it, and then press play again and look at the solutions. First question, rule number 1, get rid of the denominator first. Times both sides by 10. Remember 5 times 2 is 10. 5 into that goes twice, 2 into that goes 5, and then we write down what's left. 5 times x is 5x, and 2 times everything on the top. We are not going to try to be clever and do everything in our head. We want to do it bit by bit. Now we expand the brackets. 5x equals 6x minus 10. Take away 6x from both sides, and I'm left with minus x equals minus 10. Don't forget there's a minus 1 out the front. And minus 10 divided by minus 1 is 10. Hope you got it. 4 and 3, we're multiplying both sides by 12. 4 into 12 goes 3. 3 into 12 goes 4. Let's write down what's left. 3 lots of 2x plus 1 equals 4 lots of x minus 3. Don't expand it yet, just write it down in brackets. Now we expand the brackets. 3 times 2x is 6x, 3 times 1 is 3, 4 times x is 4x, 4 times minus 3 is minus 12. And now it should be easy again. Minus 3 from both sides. 6x equals 4x minus 12 minus 3 is minus 15. Minus 4x from both sides. 2x equals minus 15. And rule number 4, always divide last. Don't forget, if you've left your answer as minus 7.5, that's fine. How did you go? Have you got those two correct or almost correct? Almost correct is pretty good, considering this is really new. You'll get better with time. Number 3, we're going to multiply by 5 times 4 is 20. Good job. Times by 20. 4 into 20 goes 5. 5 into 20 goes 4. Did you remember to only multiply the numbers out the front? 5 times 2 is 10. 4 times 3 is 12. That should be your second line of working. I hope you didn't multiply all the numbers inside the brackets as well. We don't want to do everything at the same time. And now we need to expand the brackets. 10 times x is 10x. 10 times minus 1 is minus 10. 12 times x is 12x. And 12 times 1 is 12. And now these ones should start to get easier. 10x equals 12x plus 22 minus 12x. 10x minus 12x is minus 2x. And of course, as usual, I want to divide last. And 22 divided by minus 2 is minus 11. Don't leave it as 22 over 2 if you forgot that 2 into 22 goes 11. I'm sure you all know your 2 times tables. And the last one times both sides by 15. 3 goes into that 5, 5 goes into that 3. Always write down what's left. 3 times this and 5 times that. Don't get tricked just because there were no brackets there. You put the brackets in. Don't let the question confuse you. And of course now we expand our brackets. 3x minus 6 equals 10x plus 5. I hope you all know how to expand the brackets correctly. Plus 6 to both sides. 3x equals 10x plus 11. Minus 10x from both sides. And of course divide by minus 7. Fantastic. I hope you all now know how to do equations that have 2 fractions. And of course they can get a little bit more complicated, but you now have a pretty good idea on how to do these questions when they're put up on the board, in class, or if you get them in a test paper. Good luck with everything and hope to see you soon. Don't forget to subscribe. Good luck with everything and hope to see you soon. Don't forget to subscribe.